I'm back, Biff.
What? The insurance company said it would be covered. What happened?
Unfortunately, this surprise medical bill scenario is far too common. Thanks to recently passed legislation, Ohioans will no longer receive surprise medical bills for emergency care or unexpected out-of-network care. If you believe that you've received a medical bill in error, contact the Ohio Department of Insurance at 1-800-686-1526 or insurance.ohio.gov.
Sometimes the best time to prune trees is when they're dormant or with no leaves on them. For ISA certified arborists, it helps them see what branches may need to be pruned or removed. Dormant season pruning can also help lessen problems associated with insects and diseases and help create structurally stronger trees that can better handle heavy wet snows or ice buildup. Contact an ISA certified arborist to get the best professional advice on keeping your trees healthy and safe. Go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy!
Yeah!
You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
You got it!
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure, I mean, you being a mountain climber and all,
Yep.
you probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Dutch Boy Platinum Plus. It's only paint. It's only paint that comes in an award-winning twist and pour container. It's only paint that will transform your den with just 1 coat of salted lavender into a writer's sanctuary. It's only paint that will help you become TV's hottest writer, where you'll meet this guy.
Hey.
Who starred in That Thing.
Now that's a twist I didn't see coming.
So yeah, it's only paint. Only easy opening, smooth pouring, change your life both professionally and romantically paint. Dutch Boy. Only at Menards.
Thank you for riding with the watchdog. Live and local. Just the way you like it.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I am the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Friday. A mild day with a high near 54 under mostly cloudy skies with a passing shower or two. You'll see showers likely through the evening and the overnight off and on with a low of about 35 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, a few sprinkles around for your Saturday with highs in the upper 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Do you have any friends? Do you have any friends?
What did you say?
I asked, do you have any friends?
Why do you ask?
Today is National Make a Friend Day.
They're enemies.
Friends are great.
Not friends.
It's National Make a Friend Day.
Make a friend day.
Today is the day.
A day that emphasizes the value of friendship.
Are we friends?
Celebrate the day by making new friends.
The new friendship.
Showtime.
On FM, on AM, online, on demand, and on video. We are where you are. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe is here now.
Well, I guess I should work harder at making friends. I need a new friend. To make a friend day, I should try to make a friend. Give a stab at that. Mr. McCabe is kind of a friend. I think he and I've got to be pretty good friends in recent years, so that's good. With the odd couple, at least for a while, because our politics seem to be so different. But we've gotten a lot closer in political philosophy, I think, these days. Realities of political philosophy. So I'll put McCabe in there. I don't know, but my old friend Bob Biff, Powerful Pierre.
Yeah.
I think he's abandoned me. I think he's given up on me. He's quit. He used to be one of my closest friends. He doesn't call me anymore. Doesn't call me on the air. Doesn't call me off the air. Doesn't say, "Hey, boss, let's go to lunch." Oh, he's on with Donnie Roberts all the time. Does Donnie show all the time. He pops in on other talk shows all the time. Well, not all the time, but he pops in other talk shows. Oh, Monroe, your old buddy. Nothing. So I got him sitting there on the friends list, but I'm thinking, I don't know. Do I have to move him off? Have I offended him in some way? Has he just decided to link his star to another person, to like Donnie Roberts? I don't know. And then other friends are dying. Some of at my age, Biff, my oldest and longest term friends are just like, they're gone. So maybe if today is Make a Friend Day, I should work harder at making a new friend. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have one good friend, my best buddy though. You know my best buddy is Biff?
Who's that?
Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
Teddy. Yeah, he's my best buddy. And he knows it. He'll tell you, Granddad is my best buddy. I felt pretty good the other day. He was listening to people he loved. He loves his granny. He loves his granddad and grandma and mom and dad. And he was going the reasons why. And in most cases, because what they gave him. Daddy got me a video game, and Grandma got me this, and Mommy gave me this, and Granddad, you're just my best friend. How sweet that was to be his best friend. So that's it. I guess I'll just exist with Teddy as my best friend, and these other guys, I don't know. I don't know what happened to Bob. He just dumped me in the dumpster, I guess. Threw me in the dumpster. Have you seen him the last couple of times when he's been in with Donnie?
Yeah, I've just popped in to make sure everything was okay, and then that's been it. But somebody's got to keep an eye on Donnie. Might as well be him. Someone's got to keep him in line.
It's Donnie Gilbert, the Dance with Dr. G coming up today. I don't have his schedule for today. I have to look it up. Maybe I can find it. But Dance with Dr. G today, noon to 2 on AM 1370 and FM 97.7 WVOY. And, of course, Billy DeFabio is back as well. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show on the air yesterday after his long medical leave. And I believe he's coming back today for another go-round of the show. So after the 12 o'clock news on WTRF-TV, you want to check in with Bill DeFabio and see what he's got going. And let me see here before I get too far down the road. So when you saw, when you checked on the Dance with Dr. G show, you didn't see Bob. Bob didn't say I've abandoned Monroe or anything, did he?
No, he was he was good. I mean, he was in a good mood and everything. I mean, we kind of talked for about a minute before Donnie went back on, and that was it.
Well, I don't know. I think that never calls me for lunch anymore. Never calls the show to yell at me. All right, let's see. Here's what Don. Oh yes, and the powerful one's going to be there again today. Again, he's on with Donnie.
See, somebody's got to keep him in line.
This Friday, the Donnie Gilbert Radio Show, Super Bowl week. Bob Slider will be the co-host. Never calls me, only Donnie now. Bob Slider will be the co-host. But you know what? I have to be there. Biff could be a confrontation because I have to be in the building today around 2 o'clock to tape some interviews. So I may just have to brace this guy and say, what the hell's wrong with you, pal? Why are you abandoning me? I'll have to see. Anyways, Slider will be on today with Donnie. Tom Gilbert will be in as well. The Bear Federal Credit Union 5th Annual Steak Fry being discussed. Super Bowl conversation today, and more. It's all coming up today. Dancing with Dr. G, the Donnie Gilbert Radio Show, noon until 2 on AM 1370 and FM 97.7 WVLY. It's 9:16, 16 after the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Did I do a quick forecast? We're looking at still 35, I think. 35 at the airport, 35 here at my home studios, and 35 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Actually, temperature moved up. Sorry, I just checked it. 39 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. And, 35 at my home studio. Nope, 39 just popped up to 39 here at the home studios as well. So looks like we're moving up closer to 54. That's the predicted high for the day today. We might see some few light showers this afternoon, a little bit more rain this evening, and could see it transition to snow a little bit overnight. Not a lot of snow, just a little bit of snow. All right, that's what we have here. Why don't we take care of some business, and John McCabe will join me for the Friday Roundtable. That's coming up next here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
You know, there's variety shows. HBO variety show, noon till 2 on the Watchdog.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
I'm Josh from Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. I hope you are staying healthy. We continue to respond to structural, fire, and water emergencies. We are combating COVID-19 with our highly trained staff and latest disinfection systems, providing preventative and reactive disinfection to facilities around the region, while working with area hospitals on isolation areas and air filtering. At Panhandle, we continue to follow social distancing and hygiene protocols. We are dedicated to our community, and together, we will get through this.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
My name's Teresa, and I'm a special educator in Lost Creek.
And my name is Megan, and I live in Marlinton. I'm a single mom with 4 amazing kids, and I work full-time at a nonprofit.
When I got COVID last fall, I was able to take paid leave. But if I got COVID now, we'd be choosing between paying bills and buying groceries.
Like many families in West Virginia, my struggle is finding childcare. Too many parents are facing impossible choices between working and caring for their kids.
Emergencies happen. If you are working hard at a job and get COVID and get sick, it shouldn't be financially devastating.
It's past time we invested in childcare so parents can work, providers are paid living wages, and kids get a strong start. Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you.
Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you too.
It's time that we ensure that our families and economy thrive.
It's time to pass Build Back Better.
Paid for by Moms Rising Together.
Now is the time to explore Toyota's wide range of all-wheel and four-wheel drive vehicles. Like the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Or go off-road in a rugged new 4Runner. Visit your Toyota dealer today. Or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end February 28th. Toyota, let's go places.
If you want to hear it again, catch a Morning Show Rewind for some of the best bits and interviews from the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. They're on the podcast page at watchdognetwork.com or search The Watchdog on Apple Podcasts.
Here's a look at the Ohio Valley local news week in review with newspaper editor John McCabe and Howard Monroe.
It's 9:20 in the morning on the Watchdog Morning Show. Time for our Ohio Valley News Week in Review. Helping me out with that every Friday is newspaper editor John McCabe. Good morning, John.
Howard, hey, how you doing today?
You know, I'm forced to put you on my friends list because my friends list is dwindling.
Who'd you lose now? I didn't hear this.
And Powerful Pierre doesn't he comes and does Donnie Gilbert show all the time. He dances
Well, you know, I was
Dr. G.
thinking about that when you were talking about that lineup. I mean, is that like, you know, there's not the perfect, you know, what's old is new again? I mean, this guy's been around forever, you know, and doing radio on and off. And that's got to be, you know, I had a chance, I guess it was last Friday or the Friday before, to listen to that show with those guys on. And they seem to have a lot of fun. I'll give them that. You know, I mean, my question would be, do they wear shoes as they do their show? You know, that's my only question. No, it's good to hear Pierre back on the radio a little more frequently, and you know, and but he won't come on your show anymore. He's like saving all
he
his
doesn't call me. Doesn't call me on the show. Doesn't call me to yell at me or to agree with me. Doesn't call me to talk television. He doesn't call me for lunch anymore. You know, we used to go. I got nothing
I
going.
will say that stunning segment you did right before the commercial break, where you gave a second by second temperature listing. Oh, it's 39. No, maybe it's 40. Oh, it's back to 38. That riveting radio is maybe why he's not calling in. I'm just throwing that out there.
Usually by 9:20, I'm sort of only half moving on this, so I'm usually pretty good about checking the temperature ahead of time, but sometimes I don't get it done in time. So anyway, it looks like my friend, and my friends list is getting, today's Make a Friend Day, which is why we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So, you know.
I've always failed in that respect, Howard, you know.
Pierre has apparently dumped me. I don't know. And my other problem is at my age, other friends are like, they're
showing up on the obit page, unfortunately.
Exactly.
You read it every day. So how many friends you have left? Up, down to 5 now.
Yeah. I gotta, but I get past my wife and Teddy. It's like, oh boy. So I meant to put you on that list, John. I think, you may end up being.
I may be your last friend outside of your family. Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly right. Hey, what do you think about this? There's a lot of local stories we can talk about. Sure. We will, but I want to go statewide first. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this so-called anti-stereotype bill or transparency bill? To me, it's a backdoor critical race theory bill.
Yeah, I mean that's a local story right now. I mean it has been for a week now. I think it's. I'm just continue to be amazed by again these new age Republicans. We'll say because they're not the Republicans you grew up with or I grew up with. They're coming in and they want to centralize control back in Charleston. So all that aside, we talked about that before. But all that aside, I think this bill is. I don't understand the impetus for it. So Delegate Chris Pritt, who's been one of the main drivers, last Friday, with one of your other friends, or at least acquaintances, Hoppy Kirchhoff, said, Wheeling Park High School, that's where all of the evil of West Virginia education is emanating from. They're indoctrinating young minds into to be ashamed, and they actually, saw a video, and that teacher even dared to mention Ibram Kendi, and how dare she, and so on and on. And so it's putting in place, kind of, again, it's just muddying the waters, because even though that's 100% false, critical race theory is not being taught at Wheeling Park. What is being taught at Wheeling Park?
In the state.
Yeah. What is being taught at Wheeling Park, and I would hope every other high school in West Virginia, are topics that may include, racism, anti-racism, and many other things that challenge kids and make them question and make them think. You got in this business, I'm in this business. Part of it is questioning authority. Part of it is questioning the status quo and challenging preconceptions that either we have or others have. And that's what Wheeling Park is doing here. The class in particular is a senior level literature class. Perfectly acceptable. But so we have, now this legislation that, this is only one piece of it. Kind of the companion piece in the Senate would create this, tip line where folks could call in.
Snitch line. Let's call it a snitch line.
Snitch line there, yeah. And folks could call in and say, well, you gave my son a B, so I'm gonna report you or whatever. Yeah. And it's just, again, do I think these bills are going to go anywhere? No. But what do? They suck the wind out of the room. They divert attention away from things that really are important. And, again, in a 60-day session, this is now eaten up, a good bit of time in the house. And for what? I mean, again, these are national level scare tactics that are being used, that our kids are being indoctrinated and made to feel ashamed, if they're white, for being white. And you had kids go to Wheeling Park. I've had two there just in the past few years, and a lot of friends who have kids at the park. It's not happening. That doesn't happen. Do they sometimes tackle challenging topics that make kids uncomfortable? Sure. That's what parents are
John, that's
there
what
Yeah.
education is for.
Exactly.
Now, if we were talking about second graders, I'd have a different look at this.
Yes.
But in the case at Wheeling Park High, the one that the Chris Pritt brought to attention, we're talking about a 12th grade class. I mean, they need to be challenged.
Sure, they're going to be challenged.
Kids need to be challenged with differing ideas. How are they going to learn otherwise?
Well, there seems to be an unwillingness for kids to be made uncomfortable anymore. We had a story this week that you may have talked about on Berkeley County, West Virginia, parents wanting to ban Toni Morrison's book, The Bluest Eye. Have you ever read it?
I have not, no.
I read it in high school. It is a difficult book to read. It is. There are parts in it that are difficult. But, we talked about those parts in school. I talked about them with my parents. And that's what parents are supposed to be for. I've always been a believer that, as a parent, your job is not to educate your children. Your job is to talk to them. I mean, it is to educate them, but your job also is to talk to them about the things they're learning at school, to help them put it into a context, in the terms of the things that you as a family have taught them, and maybe in church. And the Bluest Eye for me was a real eye-opener at 11th, I think it was 11th grade, because again, there are some difficult things in there that I don't care if you're 17 or 77. It's difficult to read and to comprehend a father raping his daughter. It just is, and it's a tough topic for anyone, and the scenario is tough to even read. But it's a wonderful book, and for me, as I look back and when I saw this, just good memories, seated deeply in my brain of reading that book and learning from it and understanding what life was like in the Depression era for a black family from Lorain, Ohio. So it's there just seems to be, to bring this all back, there just seems to be this push that we can't make kids uncomfortable. And I've really been thinking about it a lot this week, and maybe it's because kids are just bombarded with so much every day. When we were kids, you were a little bit older than I am, but the 8 o'clock primetime shows were generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, wholesome family shows.
Right.
You could sit down.
Yeah,
and
it's called the Family Hour. Sure.
Yeah. Now
FCC
they're
called it the Family Hour.
those wholesome family shows are much different than they were in the 80s and the 60s and 70s. So maybe this is a natural reaction from a lot of parents that we can't control what the networks put on. We have a hard time controlling what our kids see and hear on social media. We can control what they learn in the classroom. And I think sometimes maybe that's part of it, is this is something parents look at and say, I can have an impact here. I really can't have an impact anywhere else, or not as much of an impact as I like. But so it's, but Wheeling Park, again, as we say in an editorial for the weekend, it's not the epicenter of critical race theory teaching in West Virginia. It's just not.
And the sponsors of the bill, supporters of the bill, say, well, it's, in a sense, they say it's a guideline bill. There's no real punishment. Nothing happens to the teachers, except the reality is public pressure happens, and public pressure can be good, don't get me wrong. But given the environment that we're in these days, I think of the school board meetings that have, near violent debates over masks where people pound the tables, and not so much here locally, but across the country we've seen threats being made in school board meetings and so on. That's the kind of thing that gets generated when somebody thinks that some teacher is teaching their kids something, that's just anathema to their belief system. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon you're going to create this furor in the community, and I think that's the danger. And so, as Dale Lee said on this show, as some of the other teachers who spoke said, Delegate Cody Thompson is a teacher, said it in the legislature, it will make teachers think about maybe I better not teach different points of view. Maybe I just shouldn't even offer these other perspectives for the kids to consider. And that's a very dangerous thing.
And I think the other thing it does, Howard, too, and right now, we know how hard it is to find teachers in West Virginia. It continues to put pressure on those in the profession as to why they continue to do it. It's no matter, teachers have a specific role. They're there to, brighten young minds and to challenge and to push it. And I'm talking more high school level and beyond, in particular. But it just seems like in recent years, the level of scrutiny of what they do has just really gone up. And parents, again, questioning what's being taught, why it's being taught. Now saying that we're going to create tip lines to turn you in. It makes it again. There's hundreds of openings in West Virginia right now for teachers, maybe more than hundreds, just several hundreds of openings. This doesn't do anything to encourage more people to get into that field. It's already a challenging field to attract people because of the pay and other factors. So why do we want to continue to push more people out?
And that's exactly what's happening. I think I saw some numbers this week, and I don't have them in front of me. The number of teacher vacancies from last year to this year has almost doubled, I think, in the state. I mean, more and more teachers are going. It's just not worth the effort.
Yeah.
To go through this kind of not just public scrutiny, but public attacks that have been occurring. It's scary stuff. And John, I was thinking about this morning. A handful of years ago, when some of these, what I call right-wing issues, were brought to the West Virginia legislature and elsewhere, they tended to be part of groups like ALEC, the Legislative Conference. It doesn't seem to me that there's any formal organization even doing that anymore. I get the sense that, and I don't want to, I get the sense that some of these Republican leaders are watching Fox News and picking up on things that Tucker Carlson says and say to themselves, we better do this. It's not even as if it's organized by the Koch brothers or by ALEC or some of those boogeyman groups that we talked about only a handful of years ago. It seems to be just percolating, internally from, again, watching Tucker Carlson or One America or whatever. And the whole thing is just scary to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's just a different time. Again, what we have always tended to look at as as political watchers, as the values espoused by the Republican Party. Principled values, small government, less government intrusion in lives, more local control. Those are not popular, at least here in West Virginia, but in Ohio as well, and I know in other states, those are not popular platforms now. The platforms now are, let's centralize more, let's dictate more from Charleston, Columbus, Harrisburg, and that's really concerning because it number one is a big shift away from where we were. And again, as I think we talked about last week, in a state like West Virginia, we saw what that did. And I'm not going to sit here and disparage the Democrat Party in this, but the Democrats had control for 80 years in this state and centralized a lot of power in Charleston. But not quite so much some of the things they're talking about doing now with school boards, et cetera. But everybody realized that wasn't the best way to do it. And you started to see that loosen with home rule and cities being able to do what's best for them in terms of taxing and now those are all under attack. Now we're talking about rolling all those things back. And even though it's probably not going to happen this session, this is now 2-3 sessions in a row that these issues have come up. And as we know, at some point they'll gain traction and become real, even more real than they are now in terms of, they'll move quickly and strongly through the House and the Senate. And, that's not good for the state.
Well, and I think some of these bills are moving quickly. They're moving without debate, without discussion. The first Senate committee hearing on the I'm going to call it the CRT bill or the anti-transparency bill. They didn't even allow witnesses to testify. They just at some point said, "Nah, we know enough. Let's move on. We're going to vote." And again, when you have the numbers, you can do that. Your reporter from the State House, Stephen Adams, made a good point on this show earlier this week. And that is, he said, let's transfer this from teachers to reporters. Now, obviously, the state can't regulate the free press because of the First Amendment. Doesn't mean they won't try, though. But exactly. What if the message being sent was the same message, but to reporters? Don't put any information out that doesn't meet the establishment's standard quo. Don't present a point of view that's different from the norm. What if we weren't allowed to bring both sides out? Because why would you allow that? That's creating a problem. If you transfer it out of teaching and put it in a different context, I think Stephen made a really good point. If reporters suddenly were not able to present a controversial point of view, where would the public be?
Exactly, and I think that's why it's important, again, as members of the media and for members of the public who, understand this and are concerned, to continually talk about it. Talk to your state lawmakers. One of the things that bothers me and has bothered me through this over the last few years is that, generally speaking, most of our, some members of our local delegation have just been eerily silent on some of these issues. Now, I hear they work behind the scenes, but publicly they're not saying much, and they're, again, aligned with the party in control. And I just, this is not the time to, this is the time for strong leadership, I think. This is the time for somebody to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. We can do that here. You can do it. I can do it. And we have. But, you need a strong leader in Charleston who will do that. And we just don't seem to have that. And maybe it's because, maybe everybody knows these are just fringe bills that aren't going to go anywhere. And, but still they waste time. They present issues, it's like what was the one, the interstate commerce bill, the intrastate commerce bill over interstate over non-discrimination ordinances. I mean, who dreams these things up is what I'd like to know. What?
Actually, that's my point about. I used to know where they were coming from because they were driven by external forces like ALEC or the Koch brothers or something. It's a great question. Who comes up with these? Do they just? I'm not trying to be facetious. Do they just watch Fox? It's like last year, the effort to ban plastic straws or to ban the bans of plastic straws in the cities. Who sat around and said, we better do this in West Virginia?
Yeah.
Where do they come from? Where do those ideas come from? I don't know. John, I got to take a break.
Sure.
We got to get into a few other things. We have time for maybe one or two quick other stories when we come back. John McCabe was with me, local newspaper editor. We are kicking around the Ohio Valley and statewide news in review. It's almost 9:40, so I'm way behind time, not surprising. Let's check some headlines from Metro News, and Mr. DeFabio's here with Morning Sports.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carrie Hudasek. State Public Service Commission Chair Charlotte Lane says they made the right decision to fine Sudlink $2.2 million for not providing quality customer service to West Virginians who pay for their cable and internet services. Lane says customers will receive a credit in their next bill.
We have provided that Sudlink will have to give a credit to all of its cable subscribers as of yesterday's date to pay that $2.2 million.
The PSC has also ordered Sudlink to open a call center in West Virginia. U.S. Senator Joe Manchin says his concern with inflation is nothing new.
I've been ringing the alarm bell for forever. I mean, for the last year about inflation. Nobody's been listening. Now we're seeing a basic threat It's a 7.5% tax on everybody, on every product you buy.
The latest inflation numbers were released Thursday, showing the largest increase in 4 decades. Things should be back to normal today at Grafton High School in Taylor County. On Thursday, police received a report of an armed person on campus. Grafton Police Deputy Chief Cole Durrett says they responded along with state police.
1246, 1247, we were dispatched to Grafton High School for a young male with an assault rifle wearing a black mask. That's what we responded to.
Police never found the person as described by the caller and quickly determined the report was likely false. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Marshall University President Brad Smith, giving his first report to the university's Board of Governors Thursday, says retention rates are up given the ongoing COVID crisis.
We do have some early indicators that suggest we may be getting back to pre-pandemic levels. Examples would be admitted students are up a little over 20%, and those who've actually submitted a deposit are up a little over 30%.
Smith told the board he's been interacting with students and many in the campus community during a 100-day listening tour to begin his tenure. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Kerry Hudasek.
Another road win for the Penguins in Ottawa. They shut out the Senators 2-0. Goaltender Casey DeSmith recorded a shutout, his 8th career shutout.
No, there's no magic feeling. It's just kind of, it's a full team game, and we played great tonight. And I was just happy to be behind everybody.
That's 5 straight road wins for the Penguins. They visit New Jersey Sunday afternoon. At the National Football League Honor Show held in Los Angeles, Steelers linebacker T.J. Watt won a Defensive Player of the Year.
I grew up coming to this award show. I think I've been 5 or 6 times. Never came home with hardware. But every time I left more motivated than the time I got here. And I promise this only motivates me more.
And he's done it again. Aaron Rodgers won the league Most Valuable Player. That's 4 MVP titles for the current Green Bay Packer quarterback. College basketball, the Mountaineers of West Virginia on the road. They will visit the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. In case you're wondering, at the Olympics, the United States has won a total of 10 medals so far, 4 gold, 5 silver, and 1 bronze. Sunday is Super Bowl 56 as the Rams face the Bengals. Rams veteran wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., he's looking forward to Sunday's game because he'll be playing in his very first Super Bowl game.
As a kid, you say the words like, man, I'm going to play in the Super Bowl. Like, one day I'm going to play in the Super Bowl. And, at 29 years old, now here I am with my first opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. It's just a dream come true.
I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
It's the 15th annual WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital OVAC Basketball Championships. OVAC schools will battle it out on the hardwoods for the conference crown. The boys' finals will be played on February the 12th at Harrison Central High School. Go to ovac.org for game times and ticket information. Don't miss the WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital OVAC Basketball Championships on February the 12th at Harrison Central High School. All games will air live on AM 1600 WKKX and the WatchdogNetwork.com. The OVAC would like to thank its official corporate partners, WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital, Belmont College, Project Best, Bordis & Bordis, West Virginia Northern Community College, Huntington Bank, Health Management Solutions and Paramount Preferred Solutions, West Liberty University, and the Family Talk About Drinking campaign, brought to you by Anheuser-Busch Distributors of the Upper Ohio Valley.
Keep up with the ever-changing world of sports all night long. Sports Map Radio is on the Watchdog, FM 98.1, AM 1600.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
This has been a big soapbox week. I have been on my soapbox a lot this week. Over the weekend, I'm going to post some of my rants online on our podcast page. So if you missed me ranting about a number of things, I'll give you a chance to listen to them again in review on the Watchdog Morning Show Rewind segment of our podcast page. Newspaper editor John McCabe and I are talking about some of the news stories of the week this past week. John, with the decline in COVID cases, only one red county apparently in the entire state now. That's been dramatic turnaround. Was what, less than a month ago, I think we had almost all counties were red, and then slowly began going down. 2 days ago, it was 3 counties. Yesterday, only 1 county was red, I think Mingo County. And that has prompted, in Ohio County, for example, what's the word, lessening of the mask requirement. So some students are going to school masked and some are not.
Yeah, we had, this was the, realistically the first full week, because of, snow and some other things, the first full week that kids have been, where masking has been optional in Ohio County for, probably for 5-6 weeks. And so, what that led to, unfortunately, was a video that made its way out, I believe, on Monday, Tuesday, of a teacher at the high school kind of, wedging half dozen or more kids in one corner of the classroom away from everyone else because they weren't wearing masks. And, again, really bad optics. I will say predictably, but the board office and the principal defended this teacher's actions as saying, well, we are allowing masked students and teachers if they're concerned to to accommodate that and to kind of segregate kids. But it's really bad. And it's essentially, just as we talked about, it's sending the message that, either conform or we will shame you. And that's, to me, a really bad message for high school kids to get.
Did you see the video?
I did, yes.
I did not.
Yeah, it's a very short clip. It's only a handful of seconds. You've got a couple desks that look like they're turned around, facing away from the teacher's desk, which, again, is acceptable under this policy or this practice they're allowing. And then you've got, in the left, as you're looking at the video, in the far left corner of the room, you've got a group of 6 kids wedged together away, clearly away from everyone else. There's no doubt of
these
what it was.
These were unmasked kids,
unmasked
right?
kids, yes.
See, that's why I'm asking if you saw it, because I haven't, and the language of your story and the language I'm hearing from the people is that, let me back up. To me, I understand that some parents and some students, and maybe even some teachers who have concerns, want to kind of separate the mask and the unmasked. I get that. And if they simply say, we're going to put you guys over here and you guys over here, I don't think I have a problem with that. But the language I'm reading in the newspaper story and that other people are telling me is, it was really almost, it wasn't just splitting them up, it was almost isolation of the unmasked.
Well, see, and I guess that's
put off in a corner of the room.
That's the thing to remember. Wheeling Park does not teach critical race theory, but apparently they do teach segregation. So take that for what it's worth, huh? At least some teachers do. Well, I mean, but that's what it was. These kids were definitely singled out and segregated away from the others, and basically said, keep your dirty, infectious mouths and bodies as far away from the rest of us as possible. And again, there are ways you can do it to be accommodating for everyone and not make kids feel shamed. I don't know if they felt shamed or not, but but not make it look like you're doing something intentionally to single them out.
There are ways. I mean, again, I understand that. Again, some teachers may be immunocompromised and have their own concerns. I get that. Some parents may feel, and some students may feel, they don't want to be sitting right next to a student who is unmasked if they have concerns. But there are ways to do that split, if you will, without making it look like we're putting you over here in the gulag. I mean, I don't mean to be, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, there are ways to do it that doesn't seem so bad. Has the policy changed? I guess, first of all, I guess that wasn't policy, which is what we were told.
Well, no. So
but has the action changed?
I don't know. I've heard that this specific instance that the teacher was spoken to, and I would be surprised if it's still happening to that level in her classroom. But the teacher knew exactly what was being done and why. And there's no two ways around it. And, in my mind, in a lot of ways, this comes back to, what we've seen and for years here in Ohio County. There's never any real accountability for some of these actions. You go back to when we had a principal who, was making fun of a kid who fell on the playground and sharing a video of that kid. Okay, she got suspended. She probably should have been terminated. You go back to, just recently, a kid walks out of a school.
I was just going to ask, have we heard anything more about
still have not heard.
what's happened with the kid who walked away from Warwood?
No. I mean, I don't know why the investigation's taken so long, but there's been no public pronouncement as to, no one's been brought before the board for discipline or anything. It's almost just like, well, everyone will forget. Let's just move on, and make sure the doors are locked from here on out. And if I'm wrong, please prove me wrong. I would love that, because there needs to be some accountability for what happened at Warwood. Needs to be some accountability for what happened here, I believe. So these are real issues the school district needs to deal with.
I get that these are issues of personnel, and I do get that there are some constraints in terms of how much detail can come out. But I think, and I was going to bring up the Warwood incident today as a separate issue, I still feel like two things we need to learn more as a result of that Warwood incident. Number one, what kind of changes in policies have they taken in order to allow the students and parents to feel that they're safer, their kids can't walk away from school? What has been instituted to change that? And number two, what has happened to the individuals who allowed this to occur? And I'm not sure that I even need to know their names.
No. Neither do I. I don't think that matters.
But let's tell us what happened. The teacher, the supervisor, the principal. I don't know who, because I don't exactly know all the details. But what has been done to provide discipline and to provide assurance that these individuals don't do it again?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the things that I think I'd like to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need a public lynching, and it's never been what I would advocate for something like that. But as you said, parents need to be assured that that they are doing everything they can, that this won't happen again. Now, and that assurance needs to be more than just them saying we're not going to let this happen again. There needs to be a specific plan put together and given to parents, and also an acknowledgement that yes, there were consequences for what happened, not just we can't talk about it because it's personnel matter.
And I just got a text from someone who's texted me this before, telling me what he believes happened there and that there has been some discipline. And I don't doubt that. I trust the person who sends it to me. But we don't know that from the school. My argument is the school needs to tell us that. I hear the street gossip too.
Sure.
And usually it's right. Street gossip is often right. But the school needs to make that clear. And I think that's where they fall down. All right, John, I got to run. Good talking to you. We will do it again next week. Thanks a lot, sir. Have a good day. Newspaper editor John McCabe here on our Friday roundtable. Over to another one of the exemplary news people here in town. From the Big 7, WTRF TV, it's Bob Westfall. Good morning, sir.
Hold on, I got to get my dictionary and look up exemplary. I'm not sure what that means.
Good. Just let me help you out. It's good.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Yeah. How you doing today?
Sir? Check. All my parts are in place.
Hey, that's great. That's good for. Yeah, it's good for you. Good. Anyway, some of the things we're working on today. It's Friday. Made it through another week. Biff and I just talked about that. A story that I like, DK's working on. It's called, we're going to slug it, Save Baby Dog React. It's Governor Justice calling for the dog tags and fee licenses, fees and stuff like that to do away with them. We're going to talk to a couple individuals. There's a lot of good that comes out of these dog tags and things like that. So kind of curious, the money situation. Not only that, and I can speak from experience that we had a lost dog that showed up at my house. This was probably a couple summers ago. And if it didn't have dog tags on with the phone number on it, he'd have been, gosh knows what had happened to him. But anyway, so kind of interesting story here, and the fact of just kind of seeing what other people think when the governor says this kind of this situation when it comes to something as simple as the fees and dog tags and things like that. So DK's working on that today, so that'll air tonight in our 6th. So really kind of interesting and see what that goes on.
I think that's a great story because, look, I I keep questioning the governor and his baby dog. Whew, I don't know. He smiles too much when that dog is around.
Yeah. Well, boy and his pet. What are you gonna do?
I guess.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good story, though. I look forward to it. I know DK will handle that well.
Yes, something else we're working on today is West Virginia, the United Way put together a release. It's called the Alice Report for West Virginia. A study that shows how COVID hit 45% of West Virginia households already couldn't afford the basics when it came to taking care of themselves. So that was before COVID. So the report's out here shortly. I think they're going to, 10 o'clock. We're going to get Jess Ryan. We're going to get a local reaction from the United Way on what this means and what they're seeing across the state. So I'm just kind of curious of what they've got to say, because that's a huge number. 45% of West Virginians already couldn't afford the basics, and that was before COVID hit. And we know what a drain that was on just about everybody. So that release is out there. So I'm kind of curious to see what the United Way has to say. And just knowing Jess, and I know what the United Way has stepped up to do across the board here in the Northern Panhandle, that number is going to be even higher up here, I've got to believe.
I would assume, and a lot of government assistance, even though more money has been coming from the federal government, at the state level, a lot of stuff is being cut back. So it puts more of a burden on private folks like the United Way or nonprofit groups and so on to pick up the slack, too.
Right. So we're going to find out what that means. Now we're going to talk to Jess here in a little bit, so we're kind of curious on that one. And then, of course, it's Valentine's Day weekend, so we've got several stories dealing with Valentine's Day. Everything from Valentine's being delivered to some of our older folks in Belmont County. So we're going to get a little bit of that. So police officers are out and about. Supposedly a shortage of flowers, but we've talked to local florists here in the area. They're not seeing it, so we're going to take a look at some of the more popular flowers that you can get. And have you ordered yours yet, Howard?
You mean flowers like for my wife to make me some biscuits? That kind of
No.
flower?
No. You're not allowed biscuits. No, real flowers for Valentine's Day.
Oh, you mean the kind that bloom and stuff?
Yeah. Dude,
No, I haven't done that, no.
You could download an app and order from Kroger and have it in the house. You be a hero. I mean,
You have just given me my solution, Bob. You have just saved my life. That's great. I can do that on the app?
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
So Valentine's is coming up, so we're going to take a look at that. A lot of neat little things, so we'll get those spiced around a little bit, 5 and 6. Of course, weather looks like we've got some rain coming in later this afternoon, early this evening. So Aaron's working on that now, and then Zach will be on here shortly, chasing that. And like I said, it's Super Bowl weekend, so it's got some more reports from Los Angeles. So we'll have that, and of course the Winter Games in China continue. We continue to have reports from that as well. So a little bit of everything on a Friday.
All right, people can check it out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show. Download it on your app from the Storm Tracker 7 app and the WTF TV7 News app. Or when you can't be near the television, you can catch some of the TV7 News live right here on the radio. Bob, I got to run. Have yourself a great weekend, and I hope your Super Bowl team wins, whoever it may be, and we'll meet again on Monday. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you Monday.
Biffy, have yourself a good Super Bowl weekend. Again, I hope your team wins. Maybe you can place a bet on FanDuel. But for me, I'll be around, and I'll be back Monday morning, 7 o'clock, into the go-around of the big gig. Are you back with me?
Back Monday, ready to start another week.
We're going to keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed. ABC News already in progress.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
Earlier today, he signed an executive...
Okay, Biffy. All right, you'll probably be gone. I have to come down after Donnie's done and tape another one of these OVAC interviews, so I'll be down around 2, but you'll probably be gone by that time, so have yourself a good weekend. And you're in tomorrow. We didn't promote the games again. Keep forgetting to do that. Hi, little buddy. What'd you bring me? You brought me my pills? Thank you, pal. Okay, he brought me my morning pills. Jeez. All right, if you need me, I'll be around. So you're running the games this weekend, right? Oh, boy. Okay, all right. Well, have a good time. Have a Super Bowl party or Super Bowl something, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Thanks for your help, as always. I appreciate it. Bye.
Canada, the Department of Homeland Security is warning there could be similar protests around SoFi Stadium, but say those protests are largely aspirational.
But those protests in Canada have led to the closure of a major bridge that links Michigan to Windsor, Ontario. That's hampered production at several auto manufacturing plants. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth. Step out of the car, please. I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Vice President Kamala Harris is in New Jersey today. She's highlighting a federal push to eliminate lead water pipes around the country. She'll be in Newark, which is almost finished with replacing about 23,000 lead pipelines citywide. Inflation across the country is at its highest rate in 40 years, and the Biden administration is vowing to act. ABC's Mary Bruce has details from the White House.
The White House and officials here are quick to note that wages are also up, but of course not